Hello, Dave the Sign Guy here, and today I want to talk drones. Okay, let me start out by saying right off the bat that I am absolutely no expert on drones. As a matter of fact, I've got like 4 flights. Yeah, that's pretty pathetic, right? But what it does do is give me insight right out the gate as being a beginner and telling you what it's like and what I think you should do when buying a drone. Now, right off the bat, I would tell you buy something cheap, something you don't mind crashing. So I started out with a drone that I found on Best Gear, I believe it's called, for like 30, 40 bucks. Looks like the DJI Mavic, DJI Mavic, yeah, the Mavic Pro. You know which one it is if you're into drones at all. This was a cheap little drone, has a little battery that lasts, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. But what it did do is teach me the basics of drone flying. I've wrecked this about 5 or 6 times, maybe more, in those few flights that I've had. As a matter of fact, you can see the chips in the wings if you look really, really closely. And that wouldn't be a wing, that'd be a propeller. Yeah, I'm not awake yet. No excuse. Fact. Anyhow, I liked it because it looked like the Mavic Pro, and I knew I was going to get the Mavic Pro. It has folding wings, or arms if you will. Goes together like so. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So yeah, easy to, relatively small and portable. But I wasn't even worried about that. I just wanted something cheap that I didn't mind crashing. Now, I bought this, and when I got it, being somewhat the man-child that I am, literally pulled it out of the box, got it linked to my phone, and flew it right here in my small little sign shop. So naturally, I'm gonna hit things. But it did teach me to slow down, to really pay attention to the directions I'm flying it in. Now, this doesn't have like a beginner's mode, or it pretty much came out of the box ready to fly, or RTF I think they call it in the RC world. And that was fine. I did just that. I linked it up, put the battery in. Comes with a really nice remote control that you can clip your phone on. It does have a camera. You can do a first-person view. 2.4 gigahertz, I guess, again, not being an expert, the best ones you can get, or the better ones, are the 5.8 gigahertz. And that does make sense. But for the price, I thought it was a great way to start. Now, I did a lot of research via YouTube on a lot of different drones, and came to the conclusion that before I spend any real money, and what I consider real money is anything above $500, before I spend any real money on a drone, I better know the basics. And I figured 50, 60 bucks for a drone to fly indoors in here and practice with was fairly reasonable. Now, the downside of a cheap drone like this is the battery, because that's all you get, one battery. I don't believe it's proprietary, so I do think I'll find more just to keep practicing indoors with this one. But when you're ready, and it shouldn't take you long to be ready, you're going to want to move up to what I call a real drone. Now, after watching numerous videos, lots of reviews, I came to the conclusion that there's really, for me, only 2 drones I would want. Number one, we have the DJI Mavic. This is one awesome little drone. Now, I don't know the pitfalls of it yet, because I have literally 1 flight. But what makes this a great drone? Well, in my beginner opinion, it's the mobility of the drone, or the ability, I should say, to fold this bad boy down And I mean, it literally just takes a moment. I'm going slow because, yeah, it's brand new and I've yet to scratch it. So, but look at that. Now let's quickly fold down this other drone I got, the cheapy drone, so to speak. This has all these buttons and whatnot. And when I say cheapy drone, it is cheap. You can feel it in the build. It is very cheaply built. But you know, for a cheap drone that I've wrecked into metal things and slapped into things inside this shop, it's held up well. So I can't really complain. But there is, relatively speaking, size-wise, the DJI and the cheapy $50 drone, they are really, really close, extremely close in size. All right, so let's get back to talking about the DJI. I don't know why I have such a problem with saying DJI, but DJI. Now, these drones typically run just by themselves around $1,000, depending where you're buying it. Just that, now that would be just the drone and the remote control, and that includes one battery. I would highly suggest you take your time and look for sales and buy a Fly More package. Now, I got lucky and bought this drone at Best Buy for $11.50, and that included 2 more batteries, a carry bag, extra rotors, and a couple other little things, including the remote. Boy, that wasn't a very good way to hold it. Couldn't even see it. Including the remote. There you go. What I like about the drone, well, again, the mobility, the battery. It's very easy to take in and out. And I flew it, I literally just got this yesterday, and I flew it yesterday in beginner mode. There are several different modes, and I'm still learning about the drone. So I'm literally a beginner telling you about this drone. And I thought that's a good perspective to have for a change instead of all these experts. And go with an expert when you want to know more. But for a beginner flying a drone, I found this to be an excellent tool for learning as well, because it has a beginner's mode. And if you're careful, you could start learning literally on this drone, because the beginner mode is very forgiving. Now, as a beginner, the hardest thing about the drone for me was the initial setup. I followed the instructions and found it still very difficult to get everything initially connected. But again, with YouTube, I went online, and there are a lot of guys out there who do a lot of good drone reviews, and that got me set up and running in no time. The directions are thorough. They're actually pretty simple, but when you're a newbie, everything's hard. I love the first-person view that goes to your phone. Now, the controller, again, there's plenty of expert reviewers out there, but the controller is really nice as well. Has a nice little digital display. It does record video, take pictures, has nice high-gain antennas, fold up, has a nice little clamp system for your phone. So the controller is really, really nice. I don't really have anything negative to say about this drone as of yet, because, well, I literally just got it, and it's hard to be negative about something that you don't know a lot about. And as I said, before I bought it in the first place, I did a lot of research. I wanted to make sure that I was getting something that would work for me. And flying in the beginner mode is something I'll probably be doing for a little while, until I really get comfortable with how it flies. Now, the one other nice thing about this drone is the flight time. If you're somebody who's buying a drone, when you get out there, 10 to 15 minutes goes by in a heartbeat. And like I said, this other drone I purchased about 2 weeks ago, if I get 8 minutes out of it, I'm lucky. Now, it's good for learning, but let me tell you, 8 minutes goes by in a heartbeat. However, on the other hand, when you are flying something of this nature, and you're flying for, and I got 25 minutes out of this battery, I was quite surprised. When you're flying for 25 minutes, that's a long time. I found myself looking at the the panel, which actually shows how much battery life you have on the drone while it's flying, another good thing, thinking to myself, wow, I've been flying this a long time. Now, it was cold last night, almost 32 degrees, flew just great in the cold, but my hands were getting cold. I didn't have gloves on, so it seemed to fly forever on one battery. I could have been fine buying this drone with one battery and playing with it. But the fly more option is the far better option. You're going to want to be able to get out there on a nice day and go one battery after the next, because as we all know, when something's new, you want to play with it. So I got a good 2 hours worth of batteries, I would say, or close to it, between all 4 batteries. So I just wanted to give a quick overview on the drones that I've just bought and why I bought them. And again, the cheapest one I bought for as a beginner, so that if I wrecked it, okay, 50 bucks. I mean, 50 bucks is still a lot of money anyway. I mean, that's some people have their groceries. I get it. But as far as for having fun and learning, and I'm not necessarily recommending this particular drone. I don't even know the manufacturer. I just clicked buy. But there's a lot of knockoffs of this same style DJI wannabe drone. And so you could find it, a knockoff that looks just like this one. And yeah, that's the way to go to start. Now, I did one other drone I purchased for my son, was the Parrot Mombo. And that gets about 8 minutes of flight. And it's, I think if you want to go into the $150 range, and we spent $149 again at Best Buy yesterday. And that came with a controller, head goggles, and the drone, and one battery. Gets about 8 minutes of flight time. But that's a good little drone because it has a lot of the things that you're looking for in a drone, as far as first-person view, a good, relatively cheap price for a good starter drone. He hasn't let me fly it yet because that's his little drone, but it is a nice little drone. That's the Parrot Mombo with the camera. And lastly, the other drone I was talking about I'd love to get a hold of, and probably will in the future, is called, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe it's called the Splash Drone. Runs about $1,1700, and if you want to get extra batteries and everything, my research has put it right around $2,000. So that really looks like a great drone. Oh God, I'd love to get a hold of that one. That particular drone is, from what I understand, waterproof. I've watched several YouTube reviews and videos on this thing. You can throw it in the ocean, throw it in the lake, throw it in your bathtub, for God's sake, and it'll take off. Not only will it take off, but when it's in the air, you can land it in the water and actually take pictures from the gimbaled camera underwater. And I just find that really cool. It takes away a lot of worries when drone flying. I mean, I see a lot of people out there who are really good at flying will take these Mavics and $2,000 and $3,000 drones and send them right out over a lake, right out over an ocean. I don't have that confidence yet. I can't see dropping $1,000 in the water and have it sink to the bottom. But this Splash drone, that's a whole different story. And I suggest, if you're watching this about drones at all, definitely take a look at that one. It is, if you live near water, if you like to film over water, I can't see any other drone matching that at this point in time. So I'll definitely in the near future get that drone, and I'll do a quick review on that drone as a beginner and as I get more experience. So this is going to be a kind of a follow me along as I learn videos as well on drones. So I'm Dave the Sign Guy, and I'll check back with you all soon. Have a great day.